Hi guys, so a few days ago I covered the story of the Brexit Opportunities Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg deciding that it would be an exercise in self-harm for the UK to impose border checks as a result of Brexit. A reporter gave him the figure of £1 billion, and Mogg said it would be damaging to businesses and consumers in Britain, so the checks will not go ahead. Well, not go ahead for now. So while this will reduce the risk of ports getting clogged up on the single market side, or the lack of a need to complete complicated paperwork for EU exporters to Britain, not everyone is happy with this delay. As I pointed out at the time, British farmers stand to lose out here, and this point was perfectly made by Andrew Connan of the National Farmers Union of Scotland. Have a listen to what Andrew had to say.
We have to say the decision to postpone animal and plant health checks on goods entering the UK from Europe until the end of 2023 is utter madness, and the industry is actually disgusted at this move. So the prolonged failure to implement checks shows incredible incompetence on the part of the UK government. The UK government are in complete denial to reality. Brexit, as they said, was Brexit, and with implementation of Brexit, Scottish beef, lamb and pork being exported to Europe has seen new cross-border checks, and that's added at least 6% to their costs of production and getting the products into Europe. And yet at the same time, there are no such restrictions, inspections in the way into the UK. So there's a complete unfair advantage to Europeans. There's no 6% there, that the industry can afford. So, and to have the Europeans basically, exporting into our country without that cost is completely unfair. And the border checks are critical to our nation's biosecurity, animal health and food safety. And really words can't describe this recent news as regard for Scottish agriculture and UK agriculture. Food supply and food security is massive, and especially since the onset of the war in Ukraine, which has brought massive difficulties worldwide. We already see shelves going empty at some points, and that can only get more so. The financial is one thing, but we've got a biosecurity, animal health and food safety issue here. And we must protect the biosecurity of our nation and of our livestock and crop industry. It's like seed potatoes as well. Again, the seed potato industry, the Scottish iconic seed potato industry, has been heavily damaged since Brexit. We can't export to Europe anymore, and we are arguing for bilateral trade, whereby if seed comes in from Europe, only if we can get seed out. However, seed potatoes this spring has been coming in through the back door into England to satisfy the requirements of English growers, which it seems to be with the blessing of UK government.
And this is quite depressing to listen to, because these are farmers, mainly farmers in Scotland, who voted to remain, and they've been thrown under a bus by Boris Johnson's government. Now, there are farmers in England who voted for the Tories and voted to leave, but the National Farmers Union in general supported remaining in the European Union because they understood what was coming down the road. Now, he raised 2 points here. One is the costs, so 6%. So to export into the EU, when you add up all the paperwork and all the checks and everything, these extra costs come to 6%. And, this is something that maybe larger farmers can absorb, but smaller farmers cannot. And this is going to drive many of them out of business. But the disadvantage, of course, is that the EU exporters, the ones who are exporting their produce into Britain, are not facing this 6% rise. So on the one side, you have all the paperwork, the headache of that, and the cost for British farmers, including those in Scotland. And on the other side, you have nothing, because Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg have decided we're not going to carry out all these checks. Now, I think the checks will eventually come in, but at the moment, the farmers are losing out. And it's not just on checks, it's also when it came to these trade deals. For example, we saw how New Zealand farmers are celebrating while British farmers are extremely concerned about the future. These trade deals do not help them. They help the farmers in Australia, the farmers in New Zealand, but not British farmers. The security issues, of course, are important, and it seems that Boris Johnson's government don't care about that either. Really, what is the motivation here? Is it just to keep racists and bigots happy, to convince people that Brexit has been a success? If we I don't know how to explain this. Is it a case of just ignoring reality until it cannot be ignored any longer? These farmers can't ignore reality. They have to live within it. They have to, if they want to export their produce, they have to complete the paperwork. They have to absorb these costs, which makes them uncompetitive. I don't know what else to say about this. It's not going to get any better until the UK rejoins the single market and the customs union. This paperwork, these extra costs are built in now. They're permanent until something changes, until there is a real move to rejoin the single market and the customs union. But until that happens, British farmers are going to be worse off, and the Tories, frankly, don't give a crap. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.